How to generate electricity at home if you are just starting from scratch and know nothing about home power generation. In this article, I will tell you about the three main methods that you can use and give you my judgment on each, based on my own advanced knowledge in this area. Method 1: Wind power. Wind power is already in widespread use around the world, but mostly in remote places and offshore. Such large, commercial wind turbines generate large amounts of electricity that justify the huge startup costs needed and ongoing maintenance. However, if you look at the domestic, home setting, then the same cannot be said. It will typically cost you several $1,000s just to have a system installed, and even with the assistance of government grants. The time it takes to pay back your investment is typically around 10 years or more. While installing a wind turbine will add value to your property, most people consider it a poor investment. The only exception to this is if you have a second home in a rural area that sees a lot of wind and you only need to power a handful of appliances. Method 2: Solar power. Solar power is the harnessing of the sun's heat and radiative energy into electricity and other means. Remember when solar-powered calculators came out? We all thought that everything would be powered by the sun within a few years. Unfortunately, this has not proved to be the case. Solar power suffers from many of the same problems as wind power. The installation costs are high, and, unless you live in a country with a lot of clear skies and sunshine, then the amounts you generate will be minuscule. The maintenance costs are also high because some parts are made of glass and break easily. Solar power has done okay in commercial settings, but when it comes to homes, then, just like wind power, it takes far too long to pay for itself. The only exception is the solar water heater. This is where you heat a reservoir of water and use it to supplement your boiler. You thus save money on electricity, gas that would have been used to heat the water up. This is actually a sound investment and I recommend you look into it. Too bad that it can't power your house though. Method 3: Zero-point energy generation. Zero-point energy is a concept from quantum physics that is only now starting to show its promise. Governments have been developing it for years for defense purposes. For example, you may have heard about the anti-gravity technology that Obama has promised to release. The main commercial and domestic application of zero-point is in energy generation. The intrinsic properties of magnets can be used to propel a motor and sustain it indefinitely because the frictional losses are more than overcome by the magnetic forces. Like any generator, this motion can then be converted into electricity, for a very close to zero cost. You can have near unlimited energy, subject to some realistic limits. Commercial applications are in the late stages of development and home devices may be available within 5 to 10 years. But what if you want to take advantage of this technology right now? It is quite possible for anyone to make their own version of the zero-point motor. A typical DIY project can yield a device that will generate energy on demand, enough for most households, and your only running costs are accrued when you need to periodically replace the magnets around every 10 years or so. The best way is to find a good set of plans that will give you step-by-step instructions, assembly and wiring diagrams, and advice on how and where to source the parts for cheap.